Look at this crowd, 160,001. And that one is 12-time Bristol winner, 7 in a row, Darrell Waltrip, who's on the flag stand. I thought he was, 4 pace laps. Thanks, Darrell. I thought he was going to borrow Chris Meyer's tie, but he has an actual green flag to wave to get this field going. Budweiser, official beer of NASCAR, is proud sponsor of the Budweiser Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier at each Nextel Cup race. Budweiser congratulates Jeff Gordon, who joins Ryan Newman, Casey Kane, and David Gilliland for the Budweiser Shootout of 2008. So many unknowns about the car of today. Used to be the car of tomorrow, but today's tomorrow. Never mind. Larry, adjustability on these cars during the race and on pit stops. What can you do that you couldn't do with yesterday's car?
Well, again, pit road here is aggravating anyhow, and it's so easy to gain or lose spots on this pit road. The boxes are just big enough for the car. But if you go back to all the races we've had up to this point, the way these guys made adjustments was the catch can man, the guy that caught the fuel at the back of the car. He'd reach across that rear spoiler, make the adjustments. He can't reach across that rear wing. Another curveball about this car tomorrow. They've had to adjust their pit stops. Now you will actually see the rear tire carrier have to make these adjustments, and it will be an adjustment for him to do that.
Now, we've heard of a couple of teams that have changed catch can man and going to the tallest man on the team so he can make that adjustment.
One crew chief told me he went through the shop and he found the tallest guy in the shop and said, "You are now our catch can man."
Going to be a lot of action on pit road today. Let's talk to our NASCAR on Fox All-Star pit crew and get their final thoughts before we go green. Dick Berggren.
Well, bigger car, taller car, bigger in the back end. You need a big pit crew. Kyle Busch, listen to this. Jackman, Rick Pigeon, 6'8", 240. Gasman, Brad Pickens, 6'6", and the catch can guy, Jason Dalrymple, 6'7". Matty.
And here in the A-pit, Walt Smith, who's right behind me, the pit crew coach for DEI, they changed their approach to pitting the car tomorrow. Had to change up the footwork, the pivot points, because they were trying to pick up speed around the car. They were a second and a half slower with a COT pit stop in practice than their normal car. They have impressed on that. They've improved on that. They've also done one other thing, Krista. They've taken orange tape and they've outlined the edge of the rear wing. That way, when the guys come around to go to the left side of the car, they don't hook it with their uniform. Krista?
All right, Matt, well, let's talk about the front of the car. One of the concerns for these crews is that front splitter. For the air hose here, they're concerned about getting the hose stuck on the front end. So for Nick Odell and Jason Gay, the front tire changer and carrier combination on the number 9, they have to be careful to clear the front of that car. Another concern, because that splitter sticks out just a bit more, the driver has to be on his game and not forget that it is there, because he could clip his front carrier and changer. These guys, you can bet, they're very concerned about that. Steve?
And Krista, in addition to all that you just mentioned, this is a very tight pit road, and for all those reasons, Elliott Sadler told me the Evernham cars concentrated very much on qualifying so they could pick specific pits. This is the first pit box off of turn 4. Elliott Sadler won't have anybody blocking him in as he comes into his pit box.
You'd need a locksmith to line up all the keys to the race today, Larry. Let's concentrate on just a few.
Well, it is, and you're right, there are so many. But here's one of them right here. Adjusting to the unknown. These guys have never raced this car. They're not sure how the car will react on into a race when you're on long runs. Race the racetrack. DW knows this better than anyone. Yeah, he had a great race car, but the biggest thing, he raced the elements, see who was left, then he raced the competitors. And you know what? Even after the race, you better keep your emotions in check, because that will beat you here too.
3 to go at the line. You see the 36-degree banking of Bristol, the steepest of any track in Nextel Cup. And this afternoon, when this race is over, they're going to tear it up, tear down the outside wall, tear down the often patched concrete surface and the apron, and reconfigure this track. More on that later.
There you see 500 laps. Pit road speed, very critical, 30 miles per hour. The pit window, you see it there, 125 to 135 laps. No cars will be going to the rear of the field. We've been here 2 days. We didn't have but one debris caution during all those practice sessions.
DW giving them 2 to go.
He looks good up there, doesn't he?
49-car field. We had 50 entered. The 34 car from Jenkins Racing is not going to contend the entire schedule, so 49 came here to Bristol to try to make the show. For the first time in 5 years, Joe Nemechek failed to qualify along with David Rudum and Paul Menard. Kevin LePage was the last driver bumped out of the field. Michael Waltrip and Johnny Sauter headed home Friday.
Yeah, Kevin LePage ran 3.5 tenths off of what Jeff Gordon ran, did not make the show.
Getting onto pit road here is a chore. Have a look at this overhead view, because under caution, you must enter and return to the track. There, you must enter. You must come all the way around and exit here, whether you are pitting on the front or the back side of the track. Under green, you can enter and leave the pits on your side of the track, but under yellow, you must make that horseshoe and go all the way around.
And we have seen the best of the best mess that up right there. We've already got damage on J.J. Yaley, the back of his car, the 18 car. It's already started.
And we haven't even started.
Bristol will be Bristol, but you know what? One thing will not change about this place: survival.
500 laps is a long time, and a lot of rookies. As you see, it was Reed Sorensen that bumped into Yaley.
I think we found the other victim there.
Not hard to find. 1 to go.
I think this is where it happened right here.
Oh, yeah.
Yaley, it's the accordion effect. We saw that about 8 times yesterday in the Busch Series race.
We'll see it 108 times today. Darrell Waltrip has a grandstand named for him here. Talking to the crowd.
You know how we're going to start this race, right? Boogity, boogity, boogity. When I wave the green flag, I want to hear boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys. You with me? You with me? All right. Give me that green flag, starter.
I would say it's all in DW's hands now.
Come on.
I would say so, DW.
Let's go racing. All right, all right. All right, Mr. Gordon. All right, Mr. Kane. Be nice, be nice, be nice. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing.
Jeff Gordon, the leader. Tony Stewart to second place.
And I tell you, I'm not surprised to see this. That race car right there, Tony Stewart, the 20 car in final practice yesterday, ran 110 laps. He was happy with that car, but he wanted to make sure it was good on those long runs.
Our DLP Ultimate Picture Cam can follow you all the way around Bristol Motor Speedway. Larry, this field quickly gets single file as Stewart hunts the lead. Action in the back, Kenseth and Montoya.
Mike, we're only, you see Montoya get way up the racetrack, and Stewart's going to take the lead here on lap 7, trying to get his 5 bonus points, and he will get them for leading the lap. But Mike, we're only 7 laps into this race. Already the back of the field back there with Allmendinger and Montoya, almost 2/3 of a lap down already.
There you see the gap from the back of the pack to the leader. It's not very much.
The conveyor belt of race cars.
There's Jeff Burton trying to move on the inside of Bobby Labonte.
Mike, the boys talked about it in the pre-race show. We could set a record for temperature here today. It's pushing 80 degrees. A year ago, when Chris Myers talked about it snowing, 40 degrees. This place is slick right now when it's that hot.
Matt Kenseth in the 17 made his way past the 38.
What Matt Kenseth is looking for right now is information from his spotter, from Robbie Reiser, his crew chief. Keep me posted where that leader's at, how far behind me he is.
Clint Boyer side by side with Tony Raines. Steve?
Hey, Mike, to follow up on what Larry Mack just said, before the race, I asked Jeff Gordon what effect these hot temperatures would have on the track. He said, Steve, I don't have a clue. We don't have a clue about a lot of things right now.
The unknown, just like we've been talking.
Tony Stewart is taking off. He is a 1/10.5 a second a lap faster than Jeff Gordon and the rest of this field, and I don't think that surprises anyone.
But if we stay without caution, it will not be long until he catches the back of the pack, and that's when all those guys second through about 8th will just come right back to him. We see that every time here.
Second place, Casey Kane working over pole sitter Jeff Gordon.
Talked to Kenny Francis this morning, Casey Kane's crew chief, back for the first time since Daytona when he was suspended. Really happy with their car yesterday on long runs, and his teammate is wanting to follow him through the hole that he will poke. We're riding with him, Elliott Sadler, in the 19.
Now Gordon went up the racetrack as if to give Kane a little bit of room, but he's got to be careful he doesn't get freight trained, because the rest of that pack, as you ride with Sadler, have caught Kane.
Yeah, there's about 5 vultures back there saying, yeah, you open that door, Jeff Gordon, you'll go from about 2nd to 8th.
Spin, turn 2. Reed Sorensen all by himself. And the first caution of the day comes out, leaving all 43 cars on the lead lap. 42 of 43. Sorensen is a lap down.
And that caution is great news for Montoya, Allmendinger, Kurt Busch, David Reagan. They were just about to get lapped.
Well, I said all by himself. I was wrong.
He went for a hole that was already filled.
With Kevin Harvick. First caution of the day at Bristol.